Welcome back to another episode of the Chats with Clark podcast. I'm your host, Joe Clark, and here at Chats with Clark, we don't do poppy intros. We get straight to the point. And the point today is one of the most friendly, outgoing, great people you're going to meet, Irenee Nkera. Irenee goes by E. So, E, how are you?
Good man, good man. Happy Friday, Junior.
Happy
What a
Friday,
day.
Junior.
Yeah.
E, I'm glad that we can make this happen. I'm glad that you're here. You're a just real vibrant guy. I'm excited to, as the words that you chose, chop it up with you.
Oh yeah. I love chopping it up. I'm excited.
E, thanks again. Give us a little bit of background about who you are, kind of where you're from, and just like give us who you are a little bit.
All right. So I'll start way, way, way back. Way, way back. So I was born in Rwanda, 1998, year of the tiger, according to the zodiacs, Chinese zodiacs. And then I lived there for about 6, 7 years. And then I moved to the States when I was around, it was like 2006, 2007. Was lucky enough to be raised in the great city of Buffalo, New York. I moved in around winter time, so it was a shock for me because I never experienced winter. Coming from living near the equator, so all you guys is rain and heat. But got a nice little experience of that. So I was raised there. Mother, father, 3 sisters, so looking up to the full family. And then after that, was lucky enough to go to a Jesuit high school. So I went to an all boys Jesuit high school, taught me my ideals and the way that I am the way that I am. And then after that, lucky enough to go to the same alma mater as Joe right here, John Kerr University, as they call it, the Harvard of the Northeast. So did that, studied finance, they say,
Yeah,
wealth
right.
management, and then, yeah, right, finance, whatever. They say you finance a car, but you study finance, which
Yeah.
whatever, John Carroll. Um, and then after that, graduated online during the middle of COVID. Everyone thinks it was kind of bad, but I honestly had a great time it was like, you had classes in the morning,
Mhm.
online, but you were just stuck at college house with all your buddies. It was like a long-term spring break basically for us.
Yeah,
So
true enough.
it was pretty good. Yeah, yeah. And then after that, I got my first job doing wealth management in Akron. And after that, I got my second job downtown Cleveland doing wealth management for high net worth individuals and private estates. And then now I do consulting, risk advisory. So full circle in finance, doing well, living downtown, living the convenient life. So I don't drive as much. I told you earlier, like I just go to the gym downtown. I don't go. I go shopping at Heinen's, so I just walk everywhere. My car has been in the garage for like weeks, so it's dusty. But saving the earth one step at a time.
There you go. That's awesome. Yeah, when
Yeah,
you take
yeah.
those trips back to Buffalo, then the
Oh,
716 will be
usually I
heavy,
try to go
heavy.
like once a month. But speaking of, I went home for Christmas. Well,
Hmm.
obviously, and then we had that wild storm.
Oh yeah,
Do you
yeah.
hear
You
about
guys got
that?
like feet. Yeah, yeah, absolutely. The game got
Yeah,
moved and the
yeah,
whole.
yeah. It's crazy. So I got home like Thursday morning, I think the 22nd. And then it was like a flash freeze that night. So it was
Mhm.
freezing and it was slippery everywhere. And then like Friday morning started snowing, but it was like snowing sideways because we had like 60-mile-an-hour winds.
Wow.
So it was snowing heavy, but it was going like all over the
Yeah.
place. Friday afternoon, we had about like 2 feet all over my street. And
My
then
God.
these like snow drifts were starting to pile up. So in the middle of my street and the end of my street, we had like 4 to 6 feet of snow. So it was like 4 feet, then six, 4 feet, and then six.
My gosh.
And
It's like
yeah,
stairs of snow. That's
yeah,
insane.
literally. And then like my neighbor's car was like you could see his antenna. That was it. His
Oh my
car was just
God.
mounted in. Yeah.
It's so hard to
And then
believe.
like I know it's crazy. I couldn't believe it. So
Hmm.
what the county did was they had a driving ban, so no one could go anywhere. So we were stuck at home until like December 28th, 29th. But we lost power for like 2 days. And it really like showed me like how much I rely on technology. Like I was like, what am I gonna do all day? We ate breakfast, had lunch, and by the time it was like 5 o'clock, it was like dark out, but
Hmm.
we had no power, so we put candles on. And I'm like, well, what am I gonna do? I'm gonna go back to bed. So that's what I did, but like in like 3 layers of clothing.
Yeah, because it was
So it
freezing.
was like a real interesting, yeah, it was an interesting experience. And you should have seen my face when the party came out. Oh my God. I was like,
Just
thank you.
delighted. That's so
Taking a
wild,
hot
dude.
shower. It was wild, dude. I couldn't believe it. But I made it out, grateful for that. So it was all
Yeah, what
good.
an interesting experience.
Hmm.
And so it's kind of speaking on that term and just with the interesting experiences. You had mentioned that you grew up in Rwanda, lived there
Hmm.
until you were 6 or 7. Walk us through that. What was that like? Why did you guys decide to come as a family? Because there's a lot of you. I mean, between the three sisters, you and are you the youngest, E?
No, I'm the third. So it's two
Third.
older, one younger.
Got it.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
And so then all 6 of you come over to the States. And of course, and we'll pick it up after that in a little bit. But walk us through that. What
Hmm.
was life like? How was it?
Yeah. So my first of all, I'm a big fan. My mom is one of 10 and my dad's one of
Whoa.
12.
Whoa.
Yeah.
A lot of cousins then?
So a big, yeah, too many. Some I don't even know, so my it was good. Like the funny story is my mom, um, so she when she was young, she was really independent, I want to live my life. I want to do this. I want to accomplish certain goals.
Hmm.
My dad was very traditional. Oh, I want to marry, my mom. And he asked my mom for her hand. She said no. And
Oh
then he
my
asked her
God.
again. She said no.
Oh my
So third
God.
time's a charm. Yeah. So third time's a charm. And they got married around 1993. And then they had my oldest sister, 1994. But before she was born, there was the Rwandan Genocide,
Mm.
which lasted for 100 days. So my mom and dad were trying to escape that, and they did. Went to a nearby country, Uganda. We lived there for about, well, I wasn't born, but a year they lived there, and then they moved back after everything was over. So, and then
My
we lived.
gosh.
I was born, and then my sister was born, and then my mom was like, she is a physical therapist and massage therapist, and my dad, he used to do real estate and metal manufacturing. And then we moved to the States because they both had opportunities to work here. So we got to there, but childhood wise, it was nice, big family. Weather was nice. It was kind of nice, like having your whole family like all in one place.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and like Rwanda is known for its like nature, so it's called the land of thousand hills because it's so
Wow.
hilly. Because like we lived on a hill, but in order for us to go see it, because we go like this and like
Yeah.
that. Yeah, so it's a beautiful place, and we go like try to go like once a year, the whole family and I. So you go back see family, get a little vacation, usually for like a month, because travel is like 20 hours plus just to get there. So
Holy
you
cow.
can't do like a
Yeah.
week. Yeah.
That's incredible. So you have a lot of your cousins and I mean your mom and dad have a ton of siblings that are still there then.
Hmm. Hmm. A
And
lot.
did anyone move when they moved to Uganda? Did any of them move as well?
Oh yeah, some moved to the States like Texas, some went to Belgium, some went to France. So yeah, a lot of them moved. We're the ones that moved back and then moved again. So, but
Yeah.
some after a while, because my mom's like the third oldest, my dad was like the fifth oldest. So some of the siblings, my aunts and uncles, moved back to Rwanda. So
Man, how do your parents
a lot of
describe that? They have to
moving.
have some. Yeah, a lot of moving.
Yeah, yeah. My mom, I don't know, she's kind of tough, but and it's kind of sensitive subject for her, but she said it was a wild experience. I mean, she was kind of scared. She's running for her life, and like the
Honest.
thing was, it was based on, so little history. So it was the colonizers. It was Belgium and France who colonized Rwanda, and they split people by two groups, Hutu and Tutsi. So Hutu were had certain facial features and that were put in one group, and then Tutsi was the same, different features put in one group, and Tutsis were kind of they're put ahead, like in the heads of government,
Okay.
so they had higher positions. So like that way, like the seed of like dissent and hatred was born that way. And the one spark was the president at that time was Hutu, and his plane was shot down. No one really knows what happened, but that was a big spark. Hutu said, "Oh, Tutsis killed the president. You have to get our revenge," and then that's what started. And one cool thing about the genocide is there's two Jewish brothers. They started putting museums and history museums about genocides all over the country. So
Yeah.
like the Holocaust, Rwandan Genocide. Um, and there's one that happened in Vietnam, I think, right? Or Cambodia, one of those, but there's
I think it's
museums all over the
Cambodia.
country about different genocides. So I had the pleasure of going to the museums and seeing kind of like the history and how things started to like the descent and everything. But
Yeah.
mom and dad, like I mean, it was fighting for your life. Like, and some of your neighbors who were friends with you, wanted to kill you. So
How
there's that.
wild. Yeah. So
I
it's
know.
this sense of division that it's very interesting. I mean, it's almost like our own civil war, not to compare two things,
Mhm.
but like in the sense of you have two people that 5 minutes ago were all good in this scheme of history. 5 minutes ago were all good and loved each other and were great friends. And then you're mentioning wanting to kill each other over something artificially crafted by people unrelated to the incident.
Yeah,
That's a fascinating dichotomy there.
it's honestly insane, insane. Like just going through the whole experience, it's life changing. And also can have some trauma, but
For sure.
like my mom, she doesn't talk about it as much, but after years and years, she's opened up a little more about it, kind of explaining like certain things that happened to her. And like the movie, you ever heard the movie Rwandan? What is it called again? Hotel Rwanda.
I've not.
Yeah, it's a movie that kind of depicts the genocide, and the
Mm,
hotel in that movie is still to this day in Rwanda.
wow.
Yeah, so it's kind of crazy, but
I'll have to check
that's a
that
really good
out.
description of what happened. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a good movie kind of script. It shows a nice story about how everything goes, but it's crazy. Can be a
Man,
little
you're
gory, but
sure. Yeah, your parents are warriors, man. Like what? They're heroes. Like that's incredible that because they sound fantastic. And
mhm.
anytime that you've described them, through our time just knowing each other, like at, quite affectionately, that you've are the ways that you described them. So for them to have such a major occurrence in their background like that, where they were hunted, like you said, like they were being targeted and running for their
Yeah,
lives is just yeah, it's just amazing that they're as the way they are.
I'm lucky enough to have had two great parents, so I was blessed for that, honestly.
Yeah. And do your does your because your oldest sister was then just a baby, right? So she was born
She was born after, yeah. So it
after,
lasted for 100 days, and I
right?
think it ended around June or April. And then my sister was born in September. So mom
Okay.
was pregnant with my oldest sister during the whole genocide.
What a time. My
Yeah.
God. Okay. So that all happens. Then you decide you're as a family, you're all moving. Both your parents pick up work here, and then you start life
hmm
in the 716.
Oh yeah, Buffalo Bills, Buffalo Sabres, Buffalo Wings.
How was that experience for you? You shifted from, as you already mentioned, like different climates and that kind of thing, but your family had gone through a lot and you guys had grown as a family. And
Mhm.
then you were young. So, I mean, 6 and 7, like, do you remember the transition and what that was like for you?
Yeah, it was definitely a learning curve for sure. So like obviously I didn't speak English, so um I was in second or third grade when I first got in. So I was learning the criteria that I had to learn in second grade, but also taking ESL classes at the same
Mhm.
time. So, and then my mom at home, was speaking English so that we could catch up, learn more. And in that way, I kind of forgot my native language
Wow.
because we were trying to assimilate more into American culture. So
Right.
so I forgot that, but kind of like going from one culture to the other is like, shocking, but it was like forced upon me to kind of like, catch up. So that was like shocking for me. But like my older sisters, like they were able to because they were older,
Hmm.
their minds were more developed. So like they were able to like kind of adjust easier. But for me and my younger sister, it was difficult because, we knew one life and that was it. So
Wow.
kind of switching from one to another, like that, So we had to adjust real quickly. I'd say it probably took us about a year and a half for us to speak English like proficiently, but once we did. Um, and then we were kind of just cruising, once you just get in the groove of life, that's what it is.
Yeah.
But my mom always wanted us to be aware of our history, so we'd always go back to Rwanda. Like this is who
Okay,
you
good.
were, this is who you are. So
Yeah.
don't forget this. Yeah.
And now you had mentioned that you don't remember the native language.
No, like I know, like if you drop me Rwanda, I can get myself around, but like I'm not
Okay.
fluent at all.
That's
Yeah.
so fascinating how that goes, just from not having practiced it.
Yeah. And it's my mom always gets mad because she's like, oh, I should have spoken more at home. That way you guys can remember both. But she wanted us to learn as fast as we could. So and then we had a babysitter who like just taught us some like English here and now and then, like, oh, like blah blah blah. Like I remember my babysitter taught me like the first couple months how to read a clock, and stuff like, money, like
Yeah,
a dime, a nickel, 150, blah blah blah. So it's kind of funny.
that is no, all those small little things you don't even think about. It's like
Mm-hmm.
you're
Mm-hmm.
teaching, stuff like some fundamental stuff, really.
Mm-hmm. Like she'd
Oh,
also quiz us like presidents and all that stuff. So
oh wow, you sound like you have a
a
great
lot of
babysitter.
learning.
I mean, she wanted you guys
Yeah,
to
she
be ready to go,
yeah,
I guess.
she's a teacher actually. Yeah, she's teaches
Sounds like
like
it.
third or fourth grade, so
She was prepping.
it's kind of
You guys
funny.
were her
Yeah.
student teaching assignments.
Hmm. Exactly. So we're just learning, constantly learning.
What are some of your favorite parts of the culture that you celebrate as a family?
So at home, my mom was raised on a farm, so we love going to the farmer's market. My mom
Okay.
loves getting, ingredients like fresh. Like she hates shopping, like grocery stores, like, because all the preservatives and all that stuff. But
Yeah.
she loves going to farmer's market, and so we love going to like getting ingredients from the source. So she loves getting fresh ingredients, materials, and all that stuff, and always taught us, like all this crap, as she says, is
Mhm.
not good for your body. So we like doing that. And then even like certain cultures, like mom's very traditional, so she likes things a certain way, and that's one thing that hasn't changed about her. Coming from
Mhm.
like living in the U.S., she's always been that way, and she always will be. So kind of forcing us to be like her, which is a good thing, trying to be respectful, being traditional, all that stuff.
Yeah, having
Like we
high
are not allowed to
expectations.
curse at all home. Yeah,
That's
yeah.
beautiful. Yeah, because she knows
Mm-hmm.
she wants the best. She wants the best for you.
Mm-hmm. She's like a drill sergeant. That's what I would say.
Does she agree?
She would. She would.
She would. Okay, so she knows. She knows. So when she listens to this, when you send it to her, she finds it or whatever, she's not going to be shocked in your viewpoint.
No, but she'd like me to butter up a little more, which I probably should.
Would you like the opportunity to do so?
I think I'm already too deep.
That's so great.
No,
All right, so
she's great.
oh yeah, no,
She's
I'm
great.
just messing with you.
Yeah.
So you get all this fresh food. Do you have some favorite dishes that
Mhm.
your mom makes?
Yeah. So what's this? So it's called sambusa, but it's very popular in other Latin cultures. It's like a tortilla, like in a triangle shape,
Okay.
filled with like meat. What's it? There's another name for it that's Latin, but it's like you get a tortilla, you fry it with meat inside. It's delicious. It's like a really nice little snack. And
Is it
then
like an
one thing that's
empanada?
kind of like a bar. Yeah, 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 yeah,
Is that
yeah.
what it is, or is it just similar? Is it?
It's similar, but it's different name. Everyone has the
Yeah,
same thing, just like their own names. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
no, yeah.
But
I was just curious.
and then my favorite thing is she makes this like dough, not dough. Cassava plant?
No.
Cassava. So it's a plant, and you like the plant, you put it in a powder, and then when you put it in water, it gets like hard and it
Okay.
fluffs up like bread, but you can eat it. I don't know what the best way. It's like hard mashed potatoes, but soft on the inside.
Oh, sounds
You know what I'm saying?
great. Yeah,
Yeah,
I do.
yeah. So, and then it comes with like my mom makes this peanut butter sauce, and it's delicious. Just
Oh my
like
gosh,
you
yeah.
get the sauce with the dough, and then you eat it. It's perfect.
And what's that one called?
So simple, but it's so. Um, the sauce, I don't know what it is
That's okay.
In Rwandan, but um, Jitochi and come into me. It'll come to me later. I'll scream it out, but
Yeah.
I
I'll be
forgot
ready
the
for the
name.
random
Yeah,
interjection.
yeah, exactly. But yeah,
That's
and
great.
then
Yeah.
one of my favorite things is whenever I go to a bar in Rwanda, they have roasted like beans
Okay.
or nuts, roasted nuts. It's like a little bar food. They have like nuts in the bar or whatever, but
Yeah.
they roasted them and put a little salt on them. It's like a little platter you get at a bar and just snack on it when you get a drink.
Oh man. That sounds
Yeah.
great. I love hearing about all the
Oh,
different
it's
cultures and like what like I feel like food is just such a pivotal one. Like food,
mhm.
music, um, like the entertainment. I think all those three tend to be big things that we hold affectionately towards our culture and that we find innately fascinating about other cultures because I feel like everyone can relate to all those things. Who doesn't like music? Who doesn't love food? Who doesn't love being entertained and doing things with their family, their friends, like all those things. And that's how I feel like we discover the history of the world around us. It's one of my favorite things just about the podcast is like you get to talk to people who have come from ever under the sun and have done a million and one things and just grow in that bond with them and learn more about who they are and learn more about all the different places that they've touched.
Yeah, exactly. And especially me and you went to Jamaica together, great experience.
It was. And now that you've
Yeah.
given us that nod, let's dive into that a little bit, E. So it was January of 20. Right? Yeah, January of 2020. E and I went on an immersion trip to Jamaica in Mandeville, and two ladies, Nikki and Kat, were also on the podcast a couple months ago. It's been a while, and they did a fantastic job highlighting the trip because they spent the entire year down there. And so we went down. E and a group of us from John Carroll went down and spent, I don't know what, about 12 days, 10 to 12 days, somewhere
Yeah.
in there,
Yeah.
10 days.
Yeah.
In again Mandeville, Jamaica, and really just kind of, as it sounds, immersed ourselves, dove into the culture, and lived amongst the people of Jamaica for that duration, and really experienced the life down there. I would say.
Mhm.
How was that experience for you? Would you take from it? What are some of the high points that you remember?
Real quick break. It was called Ugali. That's what it was called.
There it is.
Ugali. Yeah, there it is. There it is. So remember how we were all split up into like different groups and we all had
Absolutely.
like different activities? I think
Yeah.
my first one was we did a lot of home visits.
Okay.
So we'd walk. So we get dropped off near a neighborhood and then we'd walk, say hi to people. And these people like, were less unfortunate than we were. But they were so welcoming, like so genuine. Oh, like come inside my house. Do you need anything? Can I get you anything? Oh, like this is my family, come say hi. And
Mm-hmm.
it was kind of nice, seeing people being, that welcoming. I think we were complete strangers to them, we're just walking
Yeah.
around. Yeah, come inside, say whatever. And then because like, people in America, we can come off a bit rude. We all like tunnel vision,
Heck
I
yeah.
gotta do this and do this. So
So
that was
true.
refreshing. Yeah. Yeah, it was refreshing. And then the second thing we did, we went to go visit like a nurse, well, not a nursery, like a clinic.
Mm-hmm.
So we saw a lot of older individuals who had some disabilities, whether that be physical or mental, and just seeing. And all they wanted us to do was just to read a passage about the Bible, and that's all they needed. That's
Yeah.
all they wanted me to do. So it was nothing for me to do that, but for them it was something that they needed, something like that made them happy. So it was more than enough to do that. I remember I was reading something and this lady grabs like my hand when I'm doing
Mm-hmm.
it. And she's like, "Thank you so much for doing this." I'm like, "No problem. Like this is the least I could do." Like
Yeah.
I'm not, like, and I was like, I felt like, wow, just one small act can make someone smile. So kind of shows you there's not a lot you need to do in order to make someone's day,
True enough, right?
but
Yeah, you're just praying with someone in
yeah,
that case.
yeah. So just having that ability to be present, just being there for them. That was a big I think big thing I took away from the trip.
It was so good. Yeah, they
Mhm.
meaning the Jamaican people really embody that. They embody being present. They embody recognizing and finding the humanity in every person and really uplifting people, in my opinion. Like there's a lot of tough things. There's not a lot of resources for a lot of primary help, really, like you were saying, when someone gets sick in certain cases.
Mhm.
So it's tough, but as he's describing, just hearing those joyful expressions that everyone was saying all the time was so touching.
Yeah, it was awesome. And remember we went to mass during Easter, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, that was amazing. Like just how vibrant it was. Everyone's, just there to have a good time.
That's exactly what I remember too. It was like party vibes. Like everyone was just
Yeah.
happy, dancing,
Hmm.
singing. I mean, it was, yeah, the energy was through the roof.
It was electric.
It
Oh,
was
and it wasn't
electric.
during Easter. It was January. It was
It
just
wasn't
regular
during
math.
Easter,
Whoops.
but yeah,
Yeah.
it's okay.
Yeah. Whoa, come on. You're an but
No,
yeah, it
that was
was
incredible.
awesome. And then we had that nice place we were staying at, like got to see the sunset, the
My
sunrise.
God,
That was good that we kept doing that. Waking up early to
so
see the sun.
beautiful. So
Gorgeous.
beautiful. Yeah. I remember eating the guava jelly. Do you remember the guava jelly?
Yeah, yeah, I remember that. What'd you think?
Delicious. It stuck with me. I don't know why I loved it so much. I mean, it tasted
Hmm.
fantastically, but I'm not a jelly guy, so it was surprising for me to love it, and I thought it was delicious.
So good. You know, my mom does makes that actually, but not guava. She makes like her own strawberry jelly.
I mean, that has to be amazing. I don't
Yeah,
know. Like it's got to be. I
it's
don't know. I've only
amazing.
had like Smuckers or whatever, all natural
Yeah.
Smuckers. God knows what's in there, but
Mhm. Yeah. I mean, the food there is just so good. I mean, like the kitchen that made us breakfast and stuff, and delicious.
delicious. Yeah, incredible. The
So
experience
good.
is
Yeah.
fantastic. What's like when you came back? So, or when we came, I mean, we came back, but when you came back, did do you remember like that assimilation back into life after even just that short time? Like we said, it was like 10 or 12 days or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Remember that
It
transition?
felt, yeah, it like when I was there, it felt like more like I didn't really have. It's not a good way to explain it. I didn't have a responsibility. Like I
Mhm.
know, like I was just like doing stuff, but it was like meaningful stuff. But when we came back to the States, like flying back, I just kept thinking about like all the things that I need to do: study, get work, send my resumes, apply for jobs, do all that stuff. Just like started weighing on me because
Right.
that's how life is. You got things you need to do, and those things need to be done. But while we were there, like I wasn't thinking about those at all.
No.
You know?
Yeah, for sure. It is. It's so fascinating too that you can just be in an environment that does that. Like you can just be so
Hmm.
present as you talked and just completely let yourself be taken over by it.
Hmm. I mean, even remember the photo of us doing the YMCA?
Absolutely.
That was great. We were just just having fun, just enjoying being there. Just
Yes,
enjoying what we were doing. Yeah.
there was like a group of us as he's describing, and we were kind of just hanging out one day, basically. And where we were staying, as he also had mentioned, is beautiful, and the view was you could see all the mountains. So Jamaica is very mountainous, and there's a lot of hills as well. And I feel like it's often depicted in our minds as just sandy beaches, which of course they have on the coast, but on the island and where we were staying was very hilly. And so anyway, we were hanging out the one day. I think it was after lunch. Regardless,
Yeah.
we're all a group of us guys were just messing around. We were taking photos and we were jumping in the air doing the YMCA and just trying to get it all in unison so that we could all jump. And within that last like second and a half or whatever, get the YMCA in there. Those pictures are great.
Right. Yeah, we had a lot of good pictures. That was nice. And we didn't have any really bad days. Like it didn't rain all day like that.
Mm-mm. Yeah, the
Sunny
quick
and bright
storms.
pretty much. Yeah.
Yeah.
Get out of there. Yeah.
Yeah, I was thinking about that. Why do you think, because you and I got close on the trip, and why do you think that that is? Like, why do you think that on such a short time, like you can get, because I really didn't know you well prior to the trip. And then after it's
Mhm.
like, you're like my bro, and how is it? And we could say that about a whole slew of the people that went. So how does that happen in such a short time?
Good question. I feel like it's not like I don't want to say this in a mean way, but we were kind of forced to be into that, mindset, you
Right.
know? I mean, like obviously we weren't forced, we wanted to do it, everybody wanted to join that trip and, commit some time to do service and volunteering. But it's like you're in that mindset, you're in that space. So like you're just like a sponge, just absorbing as much as you can. And we spent like pretty much every moment together, the whole group, and we had the opportunity to kind of reflect in the morning and also when we got back. So
Yeah,
us sharing how we felt during the day and a trip, kind of brought everything full circle.
I
Like
think
for
so too.
example, we'd say like, oh, like I did this and I felt this way, and then someone else in the group would also say, oh, that's how I felt. I did this doing that. It was a complete different act, but them doing that had the same effect on two people or even three people. So it was kind of nice because like I felt like we were all like in one space, absorbing as much as we can, learning as much as we can, but also kind of having similar experiences.
Yeah,
The
it's a
three
great
of us,
point.
build that bond,
Yeah, it's such a great point because then when we did dissect it all, you can relate to that with other people and it kind of almost takes some of that on a little bit.
Yeah.
And just a quick side note, do you remember the size of the slugs that were on the deck when
Yeah, they were huge.
like so I mean the slugs I feel like that I see in Ohio are, I don't know, 4 inches or whatever, nothing.
Mhm.
These slugs were there were some that were a foot long.
Gigantic, and it was insane. Oh my
That blew
gosh.
my mind. Yeah. It was
I
like
was
you
just like,
didn't want to lose your
wow.
yeah, you want to take your eyes off these slugs. Anyway, back to back to more prominent conversation. The the takeaway from that to me is that though we all have different experiences and though we all have great such great experiences there, like to be able to come back and dissect it and say that we all had similar takeaways with the same feeling is just kind of great. Like it's showing that when we do things with the intent of just kind of experiencing them as they are and kind of taking things at what they are, then we can grow ultimately.
I agree. I mean, it was like, and then having like our leaders,
Mm-hmm.
Rose, Calvin, the four ladies who service. So like, it was nice having someone else to lead us and kind of like push us a little bit towards um kind of getting deeper into thought, like thinking about what we're actually doing, how you feel about it, what you think you can do better, what you think you did good. So it was nice having that little bit of leadership from
Spot on.
all those
Yeah.
people. Mhm.
What are some of your takeaways? What would be like the biggest takeaway you have from your time in Jamaica, our time in Jamaica?
Yeah. Because like in Jamaica, like I don't think I ever like woke up like, oh, I gotta wake up and do this.
Mm-hmm.
Like I don't want to do this. I'd rather
Mm-hmm.
sleep in. Like I was like, let's go. I'm ready to see the day. So kind of just thinking of the day as not just, oh, I just gotta go through this day and then I can relax. Kind of thinking of I wanna I wanna have a good day.
Yeah.
I want to be happy that I have this opportunity to do what I want to do. So kind of being more aware of the opportunities I have around me and the things that I have around me. Not just thinking, oh, this is just a regular day. I'm just doing this.
Mm-hmm.
Just being happy, I guess. More
Yeah,
present.
being present.
Hmm.
How do you do that? How do you go through your day and make it so that you're present, make it so that you're
Yeah.
being happy? How do you actually do that?
Yeah. So like me and you work every day. We have things to
Mm-hmm.
do, some jobs to do. But kind of like for me, when I start my job, I'm like, uh, Monday. For me, I'm like, I always start off the day as like happy Monday. I don't say like, oh, it's Monday again. I'm like, happy Monday, happy Tuesday, happy Wednesday, whatever. So like, and what I do first when I work is I like at my list to do,
Mm-hmm.
like items I need to get done today. So I do that, and then I'm like, oh, well, I have like this little window that I can do some stuff. So just ready to try to like do something positive. So I don't know, get my blood flowing. So I do like a couple push-ups or something like that since I'm home.
Yeah,
But if it's nice outside, I go for a little walk, get some sun. People watch, so a little bit of that kind of
I can't
soak
beat that.
in what's around me.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I feel like on Be Real, like all your Be Reals are usually you outside. So
Hmm.
those
I
walks
like
are
that's a great app.
yeah, it is a
Yeah.
great app. Yeah, you're I can document. You've documented and I can attest that you are on these walks. These aren't just
Hmm.
hypothetical
Thank
walks
you.
for you. These do
Proof.
happen.
I'm not just
Proofs in
saying
it.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got the receipts.
Exactly. Exactly.
That's really great advice for Z. Like I think everyone can always use that reminder that even though some of the activities can become mundane or the scheduling can become mundane and monotonous, you got to do things that bring you life throughout
Mhm.
life.
Mhm. Mhm. And like one cool thing my company does is we have like a fun fact day or whatever. So
Mhm.
like I was paying one of the guys on my team like, so what's today's fun fact? He's like, oh, glad you hit it out, glad you hit me up, and then boom, talk a little bit about that.
That's great.
So just like little things that make the day a little bit better.
Yeah.
To be
And you know what's
vague,
cool is
just like
like
little things.
that guy takes it on and like is willing to do that. I think everyone's got something in their personality that can make life better for everyone else. And
Hmm.
so I hope that
Hmm.
we all don't let it be wasted potential and let it that gift be the good thing for someone else too. Like that's what makes the days
Hmm.
great and special.
Yeah, and then also like one thing big about our meetings we have is we do a lot of like soft, getting into the meeting. So we like talk about our days, the weekend, what we did. And then we kind of, you know, lack of better word to say, but shoot the shit, so
Yeah.
getting getting comfortable around each other, not just going straight into like the agenda meeting, doing this. So it's
Yeah,
kind
it's
of a
not
nice
personal.
little, yeah. So be more personal. Because like no one wants to just go, oh, here's our agenda items. We're gonna cover this. Hey, do you have this item ready for me to review? Blah blah blah. So kind of just
Yeah.
being more aware of how people feel, just trying to get everybody in the same mindset.
I always say it, as long as we're not cogs in the system, then we're doing okay.
That's what I say. Yeah. It's like,
Eat,
just like being like this always and always.
right, right, right.
Hmm.
Yeah, we're more
Yeah.
than what we put out. Like we're more than just the products that we produce, basically.
Yeah. 100%.
As you look for going forward, what are some of your goals and objectives that you want to achieve or do, or bucket list items or something like that? What does your future look like, E? Or how do you hope it looks like, I guess?
So I always like being in different places, experiencing different cultures.
Mhm.
And what I want to do more is I want to explore more, and then not like necessarily international, or even like anywhere crazy is like, just going to Texas, seeing if people live over there, or Washington, you know, or even California, or even Canada, since we're so close.
Mhm.
Just exploring more ways of life than the ones that I'm used to,
Yeah.
you know.
I mean, because Buffalo and Cleveland
And
are
then
also
I've
very
always,
similar.
yeah, exactly, it's the same type of city, just one's bigger than
Mhm.
the other. And then also I want to do like I want to learn like a skill, like a certain skill I could use for my enjoyment and entertainment, or just one like that'll be beneficial, like speaking a language, or learning how to be a carpenter, or learning different knots, like tie knots,
Yeah.
like a Eagle Scout or something like that, like little things like that.
Yeah, it's so
Just trying to
true.
make myself better.
The more we add, then there's just more opportunities that we have again to influence other people too and to better our lives. So
Hmm.
that's such a great one. Do you have an immediate skill you're thinking of? I know you listed a couple, but what are
Yeah. It's been on my list for a while, but learning a language. I want to learn French.
okay?
That's what I want to learn
Why
because
French?
it's the second most spoken language in Rwanda. So
Okay.
that way I can speak more to people like family and stuff, because it's a little bit disconnect because they speak English a little bit and I speak Rwandan a little bit. So we have to kind of play charades a bit to kind of communicate with each other.
Yeah, a little Google
So
Translate action.
yeah.
Yeah,
Exactly. So
that'd be awesome. Do they speak French then?
they do, yeah.
Okay, so that'd be awesome.
And that's like what I kind of like hate about, not hate about America, but like I wish we were more forced, not forced to like speak another language, because most kids in the world can speak two languages, or one, or like one and a half. Like my little cousin, he's 12. He can speak English, French, and Rwandan. I'm like, what have I been doing in my life?
That's
You
just
know?
it. I feel like I agree, dude. It's so weird that we don't. That's one of mine too.
Hmm.
I will know. For me, it is. I'm very intrigued by Spanish because I had such a hard time with
Hmm.
it growing up. I took it all throughout grade school, and I just don't know why I don't know. I very much so struggled with it, and then rocked Latin in high school and college. Like it made so much sense to me. So I figure now, hopefully, the Spanish will make sense when I go back. But yeah, it's so weird to not know another language, and I want to be able to like when you hear it, just know what's going on. I don't like
Yeah,
feeling
exactly.
stupid, and when you literally have no idea and can't comprehend anything, you feel like an idiot. So I don't know if that's
Yeah,
selfish or whatever, but
yeah,
straight up, I don't want to be in the store hearing someone talking Spanish and not know what's going on, and so on and so
yeah.
forth
You
with
just want
every
to be more
language. But I'm
comfortable.
just using Spanish as an
Yeah,
example. Yeah.
yeah. What about you? Do you have anything you want to, change or looking forward to?
Looking forward to keeping this podcast going. It's my one of my big goals is to hit
Hmm.
every Friday that new episode out. so far so good through 2023. It's going to be a great year for the show and just for that. It's my favorite thing. It's my favorite thing. So getting the exposure and hopefully continuing to put great guests on here like this. And just as an aside for anyone listening, if you want to be on the show, shoot me an email at chatswithclark@gmail.com. Subtle little ad there. Thanks, E. And
Problem.
yeah, so I would say that's my most immediate thing that I'm looking forward to, in this case, continuing or staying on track with.
That's good. I'm glad obviously 33 episodes, doing pretty good.
That's it. Yeah, this is
Good to
episode
hear, man.
33. E, you mentioned that was your number, right? As a kid?
Yeah. Yeah. It's
That's
like meant to
crazy.
be. That was my basketball number when I was in middle school,
Oh my
33.
God. When you were
It's a
dropping
dog.
33 a game. Yeah.
Yeah. I was the five. I was a center in my middle school team.
Are you serious? Were you always tall?
Yeah. I was always tall, like, cause like I was tall when I was a kid, so I had a early growth spurt. So like everybody in my team's super short. I remember one game, kind of funny story. We were facing this really good team. They were like by far way better than we did. Um, it was St. Augustine, like this like basketball school in Buffalo. I remember the first like tip off went off, right? And I won the ball and our point guard had it, and then someone ripped the ball from him, right? And then I swear this 15-year-old kid dunked immediately, like the first point of the game.
Oh
I
my
was like,
God.
wow,
Yeah.
we're gonna get smoked. And we lost the game like 75 to like 20.
The fact that you guys put up 20 sounds like it was a miracle.
Yeah. Well, we got smoked. I think they kind of gave up, like, we'll let them win, get some points. They put like their second stringers in, or like whatever. Their
Dude, it's
best
such a
players
good
came in.
sport.
Like,
Oh God. I love basketball.
we got better though. We got better. And then we faced them again later that year, and we only lost by 30. So
Okay, so
we'll
you
take
made it
that.
better. It went from 55 to 30.
Improvement. Yeah.
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 Next
Improvement.
thing you
We'll
know, you
take
maybe
it.
get down by 10 or something, and then call it a
Yeah.
game.
I want to face them now. We'll see
Yeah, go back
if they're
now.
even good enough now. Yeah.
See who's
The whole
washed.
team. Yeah. It was kind of funny because in high school, the kids who that school that beat me,
Mhm.
we went to high school together. And the two twin brothers who were really good, they played on the high school team. So, but it was nice
Of
seeing them.
course.
But
Yeah.
they weren't as good as I remember when I was a kid. So
It's funny
maybe
how
they
some
just
people
didn't
peak.
get as good. Yeah. You know?
People that are really good when they're young tend to, in my humble opinion, get complacent because then
Mm-hmm.
like you've always been ahead, as opposed to people who are always kind of like the underdog. Then you're going to keep
Behind.
working. The
Yeah.
underdog's always going to work. They're going to eat,
I agree. I totally agree.
and the
That's
kids
one
on the
thing that I
top don't
think
need
we
to
should all
be.
be aware of.
Yeah,
They get way too comfortable. That's what happens.
it is. Honest to God, I agree
Yeah,
with
I
you
agree.
totally. And then the next thing you know, they're average, and you're like, wow, that kid faded out, and you're like, well, yeah, because they didn't work on it.
Exactly. They always thought they'd be like, the top dog, but things change.
Yeah, if you're the
Gotta keep
top dog,
moving.
there's always a target on your back too. Everyone's moving
Exactly.
up, so you better
Exactly.
keep moving too.
Mm-hmm. That's what I'm saying.
Is we kind of get towards the end of the episode here, and again, I can't thank you enough for coming on and sharing your wisdom with us. I have a couple questions that I want to run by you. The first one is,
Mhm.
do you have anything in your life that you look back and say that you regret?
Yeah. I always say this, but I mean, I'm not upset the way that my life ended or the way
Mm-hmm.
it is right now, but I wish I tried more like during school. Like during when I was in high school, I thought, oh, just study whatever classes. And
Yeah.
then I always thought the social aspect was more important than, getting involved in different clubs, or, joining different things, meeting new people. So I was
Mm-hmm.
always just get to school, get my stuff done, get out, go hang with friends, do this, do that. And I feel like maybe I neglected certain relationships, like my family, when I was younger. So, like, sneaking out, doing stuff like that. So I wish I spent more time, with less social aspects of high school and a little bit more building relationships, meeting other people.
Yeah. I get that. It is such a that's I agree with you on that one. I feel the same thing. It's such a tough thing to know at that time, but then you look back even just a short few years later and you're like, wow, even with the wisdom I have now, I would go back and do this a little differently.
Yeah, exactly. So that's like one thing I would definitely wish I could have done better on that. And then there's like little mistakes that I made when I was a kid that I should have not made, but I
Hmm.
made those. So now I can learn from them since I'm older now. But like little things like that, you know.
Yeah, for sure. And kind of in that light, I contend that people who have gratitude on their hearts, that live a grateful life, that embody a grateful spirit, tend to be happier. Like I
Mhm.
just think that if you're grateful, you'll live happier as a person. What role does
I agree.
gratitude, yeah, what role does gratitude play in your life, E? We can all hear from just the stories that you shared and kind of this podcast
Mhm.
episode here that you believe in it. So,
I would say I've experienced, I'm not gonna toot my own horn, but I've experienced I guess a lot more different things than the average person, I guess, would experience.
mm,
So kind of like moving your whole life across to different continents, it's and then learning to accept what you have and then also building on what you have. So like everything that I have, I'm not the type of person who like wants more, but like
yeah,
I just want to be comfortable.
yeah,
So I've learned to accept that the things that I have now are even like, like I love people that I'm around, I love places that I live, things I can experience. Um, my family, my friends, people like you, people that I can talk to, feel more comfortable around. And especially like even us going to Jamaica, having those experiences to see how other people live makes you appreciate what you have and like not take it for granted,
absolutely,
you know. And
absolutely.
like we always see like might be a little bit bad, but when or is it like on Twitter or something or Instagram, like you see, oh, like fire destroys home, family, or hurricane destroys like the hurricane in Florida.
Yeah,
Like, oh, it's horrible, and then you just keep scrolling. Like you like whatever, just keep scrolling. But I think for me, I try to be more aware and try to be
hmm,
understanding that I have all this life, like I'm comfortable, I'm good. I can
yeah.
take more if I want to, but I'm okay.
That's awesome. Yeah, I had to have a
Yeah.
conversation with someone one time, and they were saying that when they see that kind of stuff on social media, they say a quick prayer. Like you pray for the people that are affected, you
Hmm.
pray for the people that are going down and volunteering their time to hopefully make it better. You pray for the service men and women that are helping out, and doing their part of it. I thought that was kind of a cool perspective because sadly it happens more often than we have time to commit to everything. And sometimes when you're just
Hmm.
seeing it in passing, it's yeah, you just scroll next. But if you do that, at
Yeah.
least you take a conscious effort to pray for them, offer up some love for the people that really are going through the ringer at that time. It's kind of a cool, I don't know, I
Yeah.
thought it was a cool
I
idea.
agree. No, I like that because like that's what I need to try to get better on, because having the social media aspect, you kind of just like whatever. Like it's not really affecting me, but you should be, trying to be respectful, in some way.
Yeah, for sure. I love it.
Yeah.
And Ian, my final question for you is if you have any piece of advice or anything that you wanted to share and kind of get off your heart, what would that be? You could direct it to the audience as a whole, you could direct it to a
Hmm.
specific portion, just broadly, whatever you want.
Well, it might be too generic, but I guess if there's something in your life that you think you want to do, or something you think you can't do, I don't think that's true. I think we all have the ability to chase what we want to be able to chase. And what I want to tell people, everybody who's listening, live your life with no regrets. I think there's some things that are better. Like nothing. If like if you fail, you fail. Would you
Mm-hmm.
rather not know, or would you rather know? So I would say if you want something, you want to try something, just do it. You'd
Just
rather
do it.
know you weren't able to do it or not.
Yeah,
Speaking of, quick plug, I saw a trailer for the Nike movie today. Super cool.
really.
About how they got Jordan,
Yeah,
Michael Jordan, and like how he became, you know, the god of
huge.
basketball. And then
Yeah,
like he just took off.
the goat.
So
Yeah,
quick plug.
that's great. I'm excited to check it out. I didn't even know that there was a trailer out for it.
It's like Matt Damon. Who else is in it? Chris Tucker. Who else? you'll take a look at it, but I think you'll
Yeah.
enjoy it.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's great. Yeah, thanks. That's good to know. Um, that's awesome advice, man. That's excuse me. That's awesome advice. Like just doing it, going for it, putting yourself out there. You can't worry about the regret all the time. You can't worry about like the, oh, what if this happens? What if that happens? And you get stuck in next thing you know, it's been years and you get stuck in it. And then you don't develop any more confidence in doing it. You only convince yourself otherwise. So
Yeah, exactly. It's
it's
like being the
awesome.
top dog, get too comfortable. Like we just
Yeah.
said.
Get too
You gotta
comfortable.
be underdog, gotta be hungry.
You got to be
Always, man.
hungry. Yeah. Because the dogs are
Yeah,
going to eat. The dogs are going to eat,
exactly.
as the saying
Dogs are
goes.
gonna eat. Yeah, I totally agree.
Dude, you're the best, man. I love catching up with you every time that we chop it up, as you said. That's a great phrase. Just
Always.
love that phrase. Yeah. I really appreciate
Always.
you taking the time too to come on here and just sharing some stories. We're gonna have to do this again. Get
Hmm.
you on here for episode 2. I'd love to keep talking with you and developing upon some ideas or whatever new ones come in the
Hmm.
meantime. Until then,
Yeah, I love that, man.
be great. As he had mentioned, this is episode 33 of the Chats with Clark podcast already. We're coming at you each and every Friday, so make sure you hit that subscribe button. We don't do poppy intros, so you're going to hear that. Other than that, everything else is different content. I'm excited for you to be on the journey with us and to check out these episodes. There are 32 prior to this one, so if you're a newfound listener, have fun going through the listening experience of 33 fantastic episodes of the Chats with Clark podcast. This one was through a very special guest, Nkera. Thanks again for being here. Thanks for sharing your wisdom and opening up with me and with our audience. It's been an absolute pleasure, and I'm grateful to know you and to have you on the show.
Likewise, brother, man. I appreciate it. Thank you for having me. It was great chopping it up. We can do it again.
We will. We certainly will. So, everybody, again, hit the subscribe button. I'm your host, Joe Clark. This is episode 33 of the Chats with Clark podcast. We're on all social media. So, check me out and check out I'll drop his information in either the pinned comment if you're on YouTube or in the description below if you're listening on any of your podcast providers. Once again, this is episode 33. I'm your host, Joe Clark, signing off. Thanks for listening.